Hello world, this is going to be a role skills guide for a tank. Let's start this off with Rampart. Reduces damage taken by 20%, duration of 20 seconds. It is instant cast with a 90-second off global. So the tank's Rampart is your first form of extra mitigation. Now the art of Rampart, among other heavy mitigation tools, is to minimize auto attacks coming in your way from either AoE or single target. At level 12 we get Low Blow, stuns target, duration of 5 seconds. It is instant cast with a 25-second off global. And of course with all stuns you can stun them from 0, 1, 2, or 3 times. The latter being 5 seconds for the 1, 2 being 3 seconds, and 3 being 1.5 seconds. Some targets are immune to stun, sadly. My honest tip for Low Blow, in the lower levels, roughly 35 to less, anywhere around that area. As soon as you hit level 50, most dungeon bosses are immune to stun. But the general use for this is basically once you're down to 2 or 3 targets, go ahead and pop a stun if you're running out of mitigation tools. Or if not, just make sure that if you're going to use a stun, that the target doesn't already have a form of damage reduction on them. At level 15 we get Provoke. Gestures threateningly, placing yourself at the top of the target's enmity list while gaining additional enmity. It is instant cast with a 30-second off global. The honest way to use this basically is to use Provoke into something like a Dark Knight's Unmend or Paladin's Shield Lob to basically grab aggro indefinitely. After those two, just do your normal rotation, you should do just fine. This is also used to grab baddies from a distance, trying to poke at your healer or your ranged or casters. And finally, Provoke is used in a way to swap the main tank with the off tank. So if you're playing the off tank, you would use Provoke into your version of a ranged aggro generator such as Unmend or Shield Lob. At level 18 we get Interject. Interrupts the use of a target's action. It is instant cast with a 30-second off global. So if the target is casting and their cast bar is significantly larger than it should be, pretty much in the center of your screen, go ahead and pop your Interject when the cast time is roughly 50 to 75%. At level 22 we get Reprisal. Reduces damage dealt by nearby enemies by 10%. Duration of 10 seconds. It is instant cast with a 60-second off global. The general use of Reprisal is during room-wide mechanics and stack mechanics. In the lower levels this is considered a mitigation. Make sure you put a mitigation tool on you at all times. And finally, in the lower levels and in the higher levels, Reprisal is used along with your tank's version of 30% damage reduction or Rampart. At level 32 we get Arm's Length. Creates a barrier, nullifying most knockback and drawing effects, keyword on most, duration of 6 seconds. Additional effect if the barrier is struck. Strucking the barrier is typically physical damage. If the target does magic damage, completely ignore using this. If struck, however, it will do a slow on the targets in a duration of 15 seconds. It is instant cast with 120-second off global. Just like Rampart, Low Blow, Reprisal, this is a form of mitigation. The 6 seconds of knockback resistance is not, but the 15-second duration on the slow is. This being a mitigation tool, go ahead and use up to 2 on AoE and 1 on a single target. On bosses, this is pretty much non-existent, as most bosses past level 50 are immune to the slow effect. And finally, if you're playing Warrior, make sure you avoid using this along with Vengeance, as with Vengeance you generally want targets to hit you often. And finally we have Shirk. Diverts 25% of enmity to target party member. It is instant cast with a 120-second off global. So the general use is to Shirk the off tank as the main tank when out of mitigation tools. The off tank should pair this Shirk along with a Provoke to secure aggro. Another way of using Shirk is to basically both tanks have their aggro generator. You're going to figure out which one's going to be main tank and which one's going to be off tank. Halfway through your opener, or roughly as soon as your opener is done and over with, the off tank is going to Shirk the main tank, and that way you can kind of capture a bit of aggro on both tanks, just in case, God forbid, the main tank dies and then the off tank immediately grabs aggro. You do not want your DPS or your healers evaporating to bosses auto attack. Hello world, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe here. You can also donate if interested in supporting the channel. More content to watch on the right side. If interested in joining in the Tempest Talons, info in the top left. And as always, good luck to you, and we'll see you next time.